to be great at any one of these things, right? But you have to just do the same simple steps over and over. These phases of starting up someone in the business, attracting people in the right market, and then inviting, presenting, starting them up, and then helping them as get licensed and do the same thing for themselves, and doing it for them until they can do it on their own, and they can run their business independently of you. Okay. And then they'll start doing the same with their people. So that's what we do. So let's today talk about step 3. Okay. So step 3 is presentation. Now I'm going to have you write a bunch of stuff because I want you to have this one down. Presentation is a little bit more complex than obviously just text a script or add a name to a list. Okay. Now with the step 3, sorry, not step 3, the phase 3, the presentation, you can do this in different ways. You can present to somebody via Zoom, like virtually. You can present live in their home with their spouse. You can meet at a coffee shop and do the presentation. And it's just the flip chart, okay? Or it can be done in a group. That group presentation can be live in an office or at a church or at a school or at a hall that you rented, or it could be virtual, like a grand opening. Let's say a new person has their whole family on one Zoom and we do a presentation for their family to help them grand open their business. All of that is basically presentation. Anything that's showing people who we are, what we do. So the step 1 of the flip chart. So I'm going to show you what it is really quickly. It looks like this. You all should make sure you have all your copies of your flip chart. This is step 1, flip chart number 1. So no matter which way you're doing the presentation, whether it be a live BPM in an office or a virtual grand opening or a one-on-one at a coffee shop or a, via Zoom with someone on your team's list, it's all this. This is what we do. This is the presentation. It's this step 1 flip chart. Okay. So it's always the same. And you just basically go over who we are and what we do. This first flip chart takes about 5 to 8 minutes. And you go over with passion, who we are, what we do, how we help families that, our target market that we're passionate about is Middle America. And because there's such a huge need, because the rest of our industry doesn't help those people, we are looking for good people and expanding. Now, there's 2 ways we can go from here. Would you be more interested in learning more about the education side of what we do? This stuff, saving money, lowering taxes? Or are you interested in learning more about our business model and how maybe possibly making more money, having multiple streams of income and a side business, or both? Okay, this is step 1. It's the first part of the presentation. Now you should have this presentation. And I think everybody that was in Elite Circle now should have this one down. Okay, we have drilled on this and I think people have this one down. Now, part of presentation is still, whether that's a live in the office, one-on-one at Starbucks, or virtual off someone's list in their warm market. It doesn't matter how they got the name. It doesn't matter how they invited them. They're inviting them to some presentation to see this. This is the presentation. Now, the presentation also goes either into one or two of the next flip charts. So if they say education, I typically are going to go into what we call the 4th page of the flip chart, or step 4. If they say business, I'm going to go into the 2nd page of the flip chart. And then most of the time when I do it, they say both. So you could either go into whatever you feel that they're more interested in, or you can ask them. So where do you want to start? With the education or the business? Oh, I think the business. Okay. So that's step 2. So presentation in this BPM live in the office or this virtual one-on-one, it's either going to go from this page to this page to then get an AMA, hopefully recruit the person, or it's going to go into the other page, which is more the financial education page. And I'll show you that. Bring that one up. You should have all these pages. If you don't have them, text your field trainer right now and say, can I get these, please? I need these. Okay. So if they said financial education, then you're going to go into this page. Okay. And the goal of this page is to still pique their interest on the business opportunity, but also to get an FNA, a financial needs analysis. Okay. So just to recap real quick. I want to make sure everybody's following here. We are gathering names every day to expand our company. We're entrepreneurs. We're prospecting. We're asking our mom, like my daughter Daisy called my mom, her grandma, and she said, Grandma, I'm licensed now in mom and dad's business. I know you give her names and stuff, but start giving them to me now. And so Daisy's just prospecting. And my mom called me. She's like, Daisy said to give her names. I'm like, yeah, she doesn't know anybody and she's young. She's like, I get it. I'm like, find her some names. And Daisy said, do you think she still has names? And I said, Daisy, she does. Her neighbor across the street, I've never talked to. Get her neighbor, right? And so I love it. But you're just gathering names. And do you care if they buy? Do you care if they join? No, you're just trying to market yourself, get into new markets, and make sure everybody knows what you do. So if they know anybody, so you add names and then you invite them to a presentation. That could be live in the office. That could be virtual, one-on-one. It could be at wherever, okay? It could be in their home, in your home. It's just to present what? That's step one. And then at the bottom of it, this, or both. And then it would lead into one of those two pages, okay? So now, if we had the objective, remember, of prospecting is to name gather and add names. Invite is to invite those people to a presentation. The presentation's objective is to convert the prospect, from being just a prospect on a list, to becoming either a client, helping that family financially, or helping them start up with their business. So it goes from step one to either one of those two flip charts of the opportunity, which is the second page of the flip chart, or the fourth page, which is the financial education. Okay. So before we move on, and I'm going to give you a lot of stuff on this today, and I think it'll be very clear. Let's just go like this. Kind of put it into a system flow. Okay. So the first thing that all of you have to do, if you want to start making money, if you want to start making lots and lots of money and have financial independence and quit that job that you hate, all right, you have to do this. What were the keys? Add names every day. Get outside that comfort zone and start figuring out how you're going to get some names from some people. Could be the social media way. It could be lots of different ways, but you need to figure that out. Okay. And then you're going to create a big list. And then you're going to take that list and you're going to start inviting. I recommend that you have your leaders help you in the beginning, that you have them show you better ways to send these text messages out or to call. I had a spouse of one of the gals I'm helping right now. It's a spouse of, she's a spouse of one of the guys on their team, and she wanted to start helping with the phone calls and the prospecting and the inviting. And I told her what to send out, and she did, but then she kind of tweaked it, which I don't mind if you kind of add your own personality and, into the invitation. But I said, show me what you sent. And it wasn't the best way to send it to get a result. The way it was sent, it was not the script. And what happened was she said something like, it's financial and I want to show you, so maybe you can give me referrals. That's not an invitation. The invitation is, hey, I'm excited about something, a project I'm working on. I want to show you. When can we get on a Zoom for 20, 30 minutes? So she was taking all the objection handling and shoving it into the actual invitation. And so they said, no, I already have a financial person. Saying too much. So you can have scenario of disaster via text, okay? Stick to the scripts. And as you're getting started, have your leader look at this, what you're going to send out first. Does this sound good? Should I change it? So that you don't blow any of these prospects, these people that need help, so that they don't jump to conclusions. Okay. So prospect and invite, and then you invite to a presentation. And the presentation is always that step 1 flip chart. No other PowerPoints. There's no other stuff. It's just that step 1 flip chart. From that step 1 flip chart in that presentation, you're going to say this, or both. Okay. If they say education, right, you're going to go to the step. Well, let's do it this way. If they say business, you're going to go to the second page of the flip chart. If they say education, you're going to go to the 4th page of the flip chart. Okay. And in this time frame, not everybody's ready to join and do stuff right away. So you're going to have to just get really good at following up during this time with everybody that was invited that didn't show to the presentation, with everybody that showed to the presentation and said, I want to think about it, with everybody that showed up to the presentation and did an F&A and maybe rescheduled, with everybody that said, I am interested in the business, but I got to talk to my husband. Okay. The rapid, relentless repetition of these steps leads to an inevitable explosion. From doing the step 2, it will lead into the AMA. Sometimes it requires a little follow-up, but it leads to an AMA. From doing the step 4, it leads to an FNA, financial needs analysis. Okay. And then from the financial needs analysis, they become a client. Okay. From the AMA, you're going to then start them up, do the startup. In the startup, besides licensing, they become a client, right? They become a client, but also they give you probably at least 10 names because you're trying to get 3 to 5 appointments booked. So you're going to get 10 prospects to add to your list for that day. And then you're going to help them invite him and help them send out texts or help them invite them somehow. Maybe do a phone zone with them. Then you're going to do a presentation with those people. Maybe even do a virtual grand opening for them. Or maybe there's something going on in your office. Dana and Jenna did an amazing live event in their office last week and it went phenomenal. So whatever's going on, your leaders are going to help you with that. But we're just trying to get more and more people for you into this funneling process. Okay. So the duplication happens because you keep helping them do this. Once they pass their test, then you're going to sit down with them again and do that marketing expansion business plan and get probably 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 more new prospects added to your names that you're going to help them invite. And you're going to help them become a person that's making a lot of money and at least a net license right away. Okay. So now you see all the flow of this. But let's say they decided not to do the business, that this path wasn't for them and they only did the client stuff. When they become a client, they also give you referrals. Hopefully 8 to 15 referrals is your average. If not, get better at that. Okay. Get really good at that. 8 to 15 referrals goes back to your prospect list. Yes, it's their prospect list, but it's also your inventory. This is your business too. These are your people that you're helping start out and launch and become successful entrepreneurs. So then you're going to call for them these and go back into the prospects. Okay. I have clients give me names all the time. I would, if I were you, just to kind of reiterate on the invitation part, if a client or a family member gives you referrals, just like you helped your people like to contact, help them. Give your mom a 3-way text script to give to the people that she wants to refer you, to text out for you. Give your client a little bit of a nudge on how to do a 3-way text script. And the clients are the best. They're so good at 3-way text scripts because they don't overthink it like trainees. So they just say, this is my, my gal, Jamie, she's helped me so much. She's an amazing mom. She's a best-selling author, business lady. You got to talk to her. Jamie, this is my friend so-and-so. Help him like you helped me. And you're like, that was amazing, right? So, okay, Sarah's saying, how can we get 8 to 15 referrals? We'll go over that on an ATM class coming up. How about that? Because I really want to stick to presentation today. There's a lot to unpack with just this part of our system. Okay. All right. And also another person, Sarah, is we might auction or raffle off some time with Rusty today. Rusty's amazing at getting referrals. So maybe one of you guys will win that. Okay. So again, presentation can be group, which we sometimes call the business presentation meeting or BPM. It could be one-on-one. It could be live. It could be virtual. It could be in someone's home. It could be in your office. There's lots of ways to do this, but there is no such thing as client presentation and recruiting presentation. Everything is step one, flip chart. And then we ask the question which they would like to learn more about. Okay. All right. So now a couple tips from me, and then we're going to have a panel here on how to make this part of the system work. Because gathering names, it can be really, really stressful and anxiety until you do it a few times and you're like, okay, this is not a big deal. And I do want to make money, and my kids deserve to win, and I'm not going to be a pansy, and I'm going to go add names, right? And then the invitation, yes, it can be stressful and scary, and calling your mom might be the hardest call in the world to make. But once you've done it a few times, you're like, this is really easy. And yes, I do want to win, and I do need to make money, and I'm going to call people. I had a gal tell me the other night, she gave me a bunch of names to call, but she said on Tuesday night, my husband Sean did training, and he said something. He said, you have a license. Why don't you at least go make some money with it? Why don't you tell people what you do, at the very least, right? Even if you don't see yourself as a big builder. And she's like, oh my gosh, like he's right. Like, why am I not making money? Why am I not telling people what I do? And then Sean said something. He said, if I had the
Depends
text
on your body type.
Oh, someone's on mute. Sean said, if I had the text script that you guys have today when I got started, this is what Sean was saying of, hey, I'm super excited about a new project I'm working on with a friend of mine. I want to run it past you. When can we just hop on a Zoom for 20 or 30 minutes? He said, if I had that back when I started, we had to come on a Sunday night for 4 hours to wait for some leader to make a live phone call. And I had a 25 list, and we were terrified, and half of them wouldn't answer the phone on a Sunday night. That's how slow our business was. He said, if I had this text script now, you know what I would do? Sean said, I would text every person I know in my phone tonight. He's like, I would text everyone I know and just see what happened. You know, Dana texted me this morning and she said, oh my gosh, I just got this message from you, Jamie. Sure, I can help out. And I looked at it and was like, that was from 2 weeks ago for Elite Circle. She's like, oh my gosh, I missed it, right? She wasn't ghosting me. You know, she just didn't see it. We're all busy, right? So the worst case scenario is that they don't text you back right away. Big freaking deal, right? That's about it. So Sean said, I would text everyone I knew that script, either the hot market script or the warm market script. And he's like, and then I would just take off in those markets, building those people and helping those people. And he's like, man, like I'd make 100,000 my first couple months. It's crazy how awesome it is. Okay. Yeah, texting wasn't really around back then. Isn't that crazy? You know what else wasn't around? Online AMAs, like anything like that, like nothing. Like we had it so much different than you. Okay, so going back to the presentation, I'm going to give you 2 things that you got to get good at, and you will make this so much more effective. Doing this step 3. Okay, and then I'm going to give you some tips, and then I'm going to turn it over to these guys. But here's the 2 things. Okay. Oops. I'm trying. First one, dang it, gosh darn it. This thing is in my way on this stupid computer. I'm bringing it up right now. Don't worry. Gotta find it. I know it's in here. Here it is. This one. DEET. So 90% of having like success ratio of your presentation going well is how the introduction goes from the trainee. Okay. So the trainee needs to set you up for success. So you have to, whoever the trainee is on this appointment, you have to help them and role play with them before every appointment. So if, let's say, Megan is my trainee, Megan's one of my new directs, she just came aboard, and Megan went to Sean's training on Tuesday night. He heard her say, she heard Sean say the same thing, just text out this little script. So she texts this lady who she used to be a teacher with, and she texts the warm market script out. And the girl says, sure, when do you want to get together? She said, how about Wednesday? She said, okay. So this was Tuesday. I think we met Wednesday. Was it Wednesday, Megan, or Thursday? I can't remember. But anyways, it was 1 or 2 days later. And all she had used was the script. And then right before the appointment, probably 10 minutes before the appointment, I said, Megan, do you know the DEET? She's like, I think I do, kind of. I'm like, let's role play. D stands for dream. So when you get on with that prospect, your friend, Danny, here's what I want you to say. Danny, you know how you always talk about wanting blank? Well, I found this. So what does Danny want? She's like, well, her husband died a few years ago. She's a single mom and, maybe more money. And I'm like, okay, what else? So I said, okay, let's practice that. Danny, you know how you've always been talking about like, wanting more time with your kids, more control of your time, but also more income to do more things with them. I found something for you. I think you're going to like. And then you go to excited. And I'm so excited. I'm seriously never been so excited about my future. And then you do a takeaway. And this is probably not for you. Maybe it is, not necessarily, doesn't matter. At least you'll know what I do. So maybe you can refer me people as I'm growing my company. So you do a takeaway and then you edify me. And I'm so happy because Jamie is going to be actually helping you today. She's a very successful entrepreneur, super busy, building business coast to coast. She's a mom, she's whatever. Okay. And then I role played with Megan. All right. So this was, she gets on she's brand new. She's a brand new direct of mine. Gets on Sean's training on Tuesday night. Sean shows the script. He tells everybody, text someone right now. They all text someone. They all booked appointments that night. A bunch of them booked appointments. But she booked it for the next night. We get on. I role played right beforehand. So she did a pretty good job. It's her first appointment, right? She did an okay job. And then I did step 3. And I said, this, or both. And you know what the lady said? She goes, she goes, for me, I think it's probably both because I need the financial education, but I also need to make more money. And because this was Megan's first appointment and I just wanted to get her a recruit right away, I just said, cool, let's start with the business. And I went into step 2, right? And I did step 2. And as I'm going through step 2, I'm asking her more about her dreams. And she's telling me, I want to be able to do more experiences with my kids. And, my husband had died and my siblings are further along in life than me. They've bought homes and I just want to, feel proud of myself. And she's telling me all of these dreams. And I'm like, Danny, I'm so grateful that you're sharing these things with me. And I want to get you there. I want to help you. I was like, I want to get you going with us. Right. And I just did her AMA. It was like, and Megan was like, I was so excited, right? She was talking like we have to go over do's and don'ts of talking too much, but it was great. And when we did our AMA, and she's in ABC's class this morning, right? So the DEET. Now, if I just relied on the first time going over DEET with Megan, it probably wouldn't have gone so well. So I call my trainees, even if they've done it, they did an appointment yesterday for their best friend, but now they're doing another one today for their dad. It's a different dream that they're selling. Okay. So I got to go over it again. We got to role play. Okay. That was Danny, but this is your brother-in-law. What's his dream? Let's role play that. And it only took me maybe 2 minutes to role play with Danny, the DEET, before we got on that appointment. And if I really couldn't, if I really didn't have time to do that role play because I'm stuck in a fast start somewhere else, I would have someone else do it. I'd have one of my MDs in my base shop. I'd just like, hey, Tommy, can you teach Megan the DEET real quick? Or maybe I'd send it out on the line chat. Who has a second to teach Megan how to do DEET? Maybe my assistant could even do it. Do you see what I'm saying? But it has to get done before every appointment. The other thing, besides the edification, the DEET that helps the success of the presentation, is confirmation. Confirmation. Making sure the appointment gets confirmed. So does anybody have anybody cancel last minute or flake? Okay, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. I was talking to Cash Raston 2 days ago. By the way, I am redoing the business format system right now. Lots and lots of changes to it. And it's going to be ready for you by Wealthful. But I was talking to Cash when I was going through this, and I'm like, Cash, the show ratio is not 10-3-1 anymore. Used to be you'd invite 10 to a live BPM and 30% would show. So 10 invites, 3 shows to the presentation. Live BPMs in massive groups will still have ratios similar to that. But these Zoom one-on-ones, what do you suppose the ratio is? It's not 10-3-1. Anybody have any guesses what it is? 80%? Nope. No, it's not even, there's not even a ratio anymore. So the ratio is 3-1. 3-1. That's what the ratio is. 3-1. That's it. 3-1. We invite 10 to a Zoom presentation, and if it is confirmed properly in a warm market, we have almost 100% show ratio. Now, you're doing cold market, social media, live BPMs, those ratios are skewed. But if you are calling the top 5 hot market and it is confirmed properly, there's no more ratio. It's like you invite 10 shows, but the ratio is 3 shows, 1 recruit. 3 shows, 1 recruit. So Megan did 1 appointment, got 1 recruit. Maybe her next 2 will probably be FNAs. I don't know. But that's the ratios. Okay. So 3 shows, 1 recruit. That's what it is. Isn't that awesome? But again, we have to do the DEET right. We have to do the confirmation right. So what's the confirmation look like? Confirmation looks like this. The day before the appointment, the trainee, you will give your trainee a text script to send out. And I would maybe send my Megan, like, Megan, here's text Danny. Hey, Danny, excited to see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Just wanted to make sure you had the link I sent you. That's the text confirmation. Pretty easy, huh? Pretty easy. Now, if you are a trainer and you have a lot of cancellations from somebody, I would suggest you also do a second confirmation. So let's say Megan's booking all these appointments and last minute they're canceling or no showing, and I'm seeing a pattern here. Megan, I'm going to confirm too. So she's going to confirm, but I'm also going to get on the phone. And if they don't answer, I will leave a message, and then I will also send a text. So I call Danny. Hi, Danny, this is Jamie. Megan tells me so many wonderful things about you. I'm really looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, meeting you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. I just want to make sure you had the text link that she sent out. Perfect. Look forward to meeting you. If the person tries to reschedule in any of those situations, whether it's Danny sending the text, you, the trainer, confirming, and they're like, oh, I can't, something came up. It's been a chaotic day. I got stuck at work late. I forgot I have a parent meeting. Okay, yes, sure, no problem. But I know that, we were really looking forward to meeting you. Danny or Megan had so many wonderful things to say. Let me see what my schedule looks like in the next 24 to 48 hours or so. Friday or so. What would work best this week? Friday or Thursday? I'm going to try to reschedule that presentation. Does that make sense? And if they're like chaotic, no, you know what? I'm at work right now. Can I just call you later? That's when it falls into that follow-up category. There's always massive follow-up to do. The guys that had to reschedule, the guys that came but had to think about it, always massive follow-up going on in all of those steps. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So, couple tips to have in your notes on the group live presentations, those things we call BPMs. that the best presenter should always be doing it. The best presenter should always be doing it. The most success currently, not because they're a good public speaker, but whoever's on fire right now, that's your BPM speaker, okay? Not splitting it up just to give people experience. It is not a time to practice in front of other people's guests. Does that make sense? The guests, they work hard on a lot of prospecting and a lot of inviting to get someone to freaking show up to a presentation, and you don't want to throw someone up there, okay? All right, what else? If it is a live BPM, Mozone. This term Mozone, I want you guys to understand. Mozone is the environment that converts the prospect. So someone might come in like, what's this all about, right? So the Mozone is that 15 maybe or so minutes that people are kind of hanging out, waiting for all the guests to arrive before the BPM speaker is introduced. And during this time, the guests are introduced around to the top leaders in the office, to the BPM speaker, to people maybe that have similar backgrounds as them, so that they can be kind of warmed up to being able to hear the message that the BPM speaker is about to give. Someone said, how's Mozone spelled? I think that's good, Mozone. It's a term that we made up, so you can spell it however you want, but I think we spell it capital M-O-Z-O-N-E is pretty much how I've seen it everything. All right. Now, no matter if it's live, virtual, group, one-on-one, there is one thing that always has to happen in every presentation. It's the most important part of the presentation. What do you suppose it is? Any guesses? Put some guesses in the chat to this one. Edification, that's important, but I can still get an AMA without the edification. Trust me, I do it all the time. I have to get good at edifying myself because I forget sometimes. Energy and excitement. It was Andrew that actually said it, and Dave here, I think it was, no, not Dave, Vincent, it's sell the dream. Sell the dream. Sell the dream. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but I want to give you, Neil, is it in that stuff I asked for?
Yeah, it's in there.
So if I go into my iCloud Drive and I go into recents, I should be able to find it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it say step 3? No, that's something.
No, subliminal.
There's so many things in here. I don't see it.
It's in recents.
There's a lot of stuff in recents, Neil. I can't find it. Is it at the bottom somewhere? No, shouldn't it be somewhere near the top? It's not in here.
Yeah, it's near the top. I see it.
I see it just came up. Okay. All right. So this is just more like, again, this could be live, group, especially if you're doing you're presenting to a group. Maybe your new person set up a virtual grand opening. Sometimes again, we abbreviate everything and acronyms, and anyways, sometimes they'll say VGO. If you hear that term, it means virtual grand opening. Just means as a new person, I'm like, I want to tell everybody all at once, and I want someone really good to do it instead of me. And then you get everybody on a Zoom together, and you introduce a speaker, and they do it just for you instead of a BPM is a bunch of people plugging in typically to one group. All right, so I want you to kind of master these little arts of running this BPM. Okay, so a couple of things. Oh, it's not. Okay, you want your guests to feel like whoever's listening to this presentation, these prospects, you want them to feel that they can do it. Like a message could be, if I can do it, you can do it. Have you guys ever heard me kind of say those things? I'm like, if I can do it, you guys can do it, right? I worked at Bally's. Like this should be a focus. So if, let's say you were a financial advisor and licensed and have a finance degree, downplay that a little bit. Like when you're talking to the truck driver, don't be so Mr. Fancy Pants. I was an attorney or whatever. Okay. I can do it. You can do it. Okay. The second thing is there's money to be made here. You have to go through comp to some degree so that they understand that they can make money, that they can do it. And then the other subliminal message is these are good people doing good things for people. We're helping people. The crusade should come across. Okay. Number 2, keep the meeting simple, never complicated. easy to understand, easy to follow. That's why I love these flip charts. Honestly, at the end of the presentation, I could say, Danny, obviously not today, but if you studied what I just showed you, like these little flip charts, do you think you could do it after like a week or month? Of course you could. Okay. Number 3, have a conversational style with an easy and pleasant delivery. If you guys have ever seen me do a step 1, a presentation, it's very conversational, very pleasant, very easygoing. Okay. Your presentation should be solid, not flashy. Ideally, it's basically like you're giving a one-on-one to a group, even if you're in a group. That's why I love, we're doing the same thing, even if it's a group. On Monday night, I'm going to be doing a small BPM for a MD team. And maybe if you guys want to see me do a presentation with the flip charts to a group virtually, maybe they'll let you have that link or something and you can watch that. But it's basically, even if it's a big group of 100 guests, it should still feel like that one-on-one delivery. Okay. Market the potential opportunity, meaning sell the dream. The number one product we offer is the opportunity, is the business. So even though it's this, or both, your whole, like everything that you're focused on is getting that person to recruit. It's not to make a sale, to make money. It's you're helping your new guy get a recruit. You are selling the opportunity, the business. Okay. First, you sell the dream, sell the opportunity, aim at the recruit. And if you miss and they're not interested, you still hit the sale. Okay. Okay. People from all walks of life have become successful. Like there's Chinese, there's women, there's Black, there's white, there's everybody. Okay. Like, so from all walks of life are, first of all, included, but they're successful here. And you have the same potential for success. Okay. That's again, another message, subliminal messages. This is kind of the feel, the vibe. I'm just trying to help you out here as far as like, this is how it should be coming across, not as teaching, not as training, not as boring, not as Mr. Fancy Pants financial guy. This is something different. Okay. This energy is different. Okay. Keep it exciting and a fun pace and make people feel good, and not condescending in any way. And then of course, the quality of family values. Let people know this is a family oriented business. When we talk about our core values, a lot of this stuff comes in. Number 8, send the message loud and clear that this is a ground floor opportunity, that it's time to start now. This train is leaving the station. But don't make the opportunity seem like an employment position. This is not hiring. This is not an employment position. Okay. Solidify the company's identity and credibility by talking about our parent companies like Transamerica or the billions of dollars that Aegon has, and maybe even some of the preferred companies. However, do not get into products that are offered at this time. That's later. Okay. This is not a sales presentation, especially in the group ones. Okay. Sometimes you can get into that conversation a little bit when you're going into financial education once they have decided to go down that route, but that's not what we're talking about here. Okay. Make them feel good, make them feel special, make that extra effort to call people by their names. And even if it's in a group presentation, you can do that from stage or from virtually. You can, use their names, make them feel as if they're part of the meeting. Okay. Number 11, relate to all types of people, be universally appealing. Please don't talk freaking politics or dumb crap or anything like that. Nothing that would offend anybody. Okay. In any way. And then number 12, zero pressure, no pressure, no pressure. So when I say this, or both, they are the prospect is leading the way. If they say both, I might even say, so which one do you want to start with? Let them lead. Okay. And then no hype, no over promoting is needed in your presentation. The facts are already good enough. This is already the best opportunity that's ever come their way and ever will probably, right? So let the fundamental goodness of the company show, but do not lie or over promote in any way. There's no reason for it. Does that make sense? So, all right, good. So I think that's, on my part, I wanted to have these guys come up. I wanted to have Paul Vorwaller, Olivia Sula-Wang, and Dana Lagatuda. They are phenomenal at this. They are phenomenal at all of the things that we talked about today. And so I wanted them to give you their tips on the presentation. So who do we want to start with? Olivia, you want to start? I know you always have tons to say.
I do. So my gosh, so good. Okay, I'll try to go quick here. Hey guys, to move from self-employed thinking to entrepreneurship thinking, it's super, super important. Like I am super obsessed about duplication. That's how you get it. It's not just getting a result for yourself, one little person, it's like, how do you get in the game of multiplication? And that is all about equipping. So all this stuff about presentation, you guys, I look through and I encourage you guys to look through that lens. So there's a few things I think, whether it's a one-on-one, whether it's a BPM, a BMP, a VGO, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, we have so many acronyms here. By the way, don't say these things to the prospects, like right with the deed script. This is my SMD. They like sounds so. This is my leader. Like it sounds so weird. Okay, so here's universal concepts here. Number one, I think you have to really focus on connecting with the prospect. Okay, so it's not what you say, like Jane was saying, it's not about being Mr. and Mrs. Fancy Pants. It's about how you make that person feel. And that's the most important. If you make them feel good, if they feel relatable, they feel like I can do it, if they get inspired, excited, all you're asking is for them to take the one next little step. You're not asking them to quit their job and go full time. You just want them to come along with you for the next step. Okay, and so this requires an understanding of human nature. And so what do people want? You understand they want to be loved, they want to love, they want to make a difference, they want to be part of a community, they want to be significant. All the 6, fundamental human needs. So how do you do that? Well, you want to make somebody feel like you're hearing them, that you're listening to them, and you're not presenting, you're not pitching, you're not doing a spiel, right? If you have anybody that says, oh, so-and-so gave me the spiel before, I'm like, okay, that previous presentation was not done well. So how do you do that? You want to ask them questions about something they just said. That is a very specific, tangible technique I'm giving you guys, right? How do you make them feel like they can relate to you? You want to have a similar energy to them, but slightly higher. So don't bring down energy. So maybe talk a little bit faster them, a little more volume, a little more leaning forward, a little more looking at, body language, maybe similar interests and backgrounds. So the goal is you want to have that connection in just a few minutes, okay? This is not like, oh, if I spend 45 minutes asking questions and I connect. No, that's like awkward. That's really awkward. So you can connect with somebody in like 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, you guys. Smile, get in, get out, be focused on watching them and listening and observing them, not yourself. Number 2, the excitement. Okay, be excited, but don't be weird. So what are you excited about? Right? You gotta, everybody, human nature again. Oh, is this an MLM? Is this a pyramid? What is this thing about? So if you're like, oh my God, you can make so much money, you've completely freaked them out. Don't talk about the money, you guys. People will know there's money to be made here. You have to give them just enough, but you can't oversell, like what Jamie was saying. So what do you want to be excited about? You got to be excited about who you are, who you're developing into, where you're going, and who you're helping. That's the dream in the crusade. That's a dream in the crusade. So it's not about being excited about where I am. You don't need to puff up where you are. We're all not where we want to be. That's not what to get excited about. You got excited about this mission, the crusade, and how your life is changing. You're not there yet, but that's what brings that humility into it. Okay. So you got to be relaxed, but excited. And then this gives off a confident vibe. So this is why, like, I actually hate texting. I don't really text. The only thing that I usually text is I'm making a phone call. If I don't get them, I say, hey, can you chat real quick? Okay, that's all I'm really texting. I don't like doing the invitation because our new people, if they, because everybody's comfort zone is texting. No, everybody's discomfort zone is making phone calls. So if everybody just texts, it's so easy for them to just text back, I can't make it, something came up. I had to schedule a nail appointment. Okay, it's too easy. You give people an out when you do that. So I like to, hey, can you, okay, so that's, I don't text. Definitely don't text like scrollable amounts of text. If you're going to text something, it's like, hey, real quick, can you chat? You got a minute? Hey, what time are you off today? Something super, super quick. Okay, number 3, be genuine. Okay, if you're guarded, they're guarded. This has to do with a connection too. Your openness invites openness. So authenticity absolutely matters, and nobody wants perfection. If you try to come off as I've made it, I'm too good, I'm too smooth, you're going to come off as fake, and nobody wants to listen to that anyway. So like for me, I'm not cool. I've never been cool. Growing up in school, I didn't sit in the front of the bus or the back of the bus. I can't remember which was the cool side of the bus. I didn't sit at that lunch table. I know this about myself. I'm kind of nerdy. I don't know pop culture. If you honestly ask me what sport is playing this season, I can't even tell you what that is. Okay, so I don't try to be cool. I don't try to be on Instagram like woo woo woo. Like I don't. That's just not me. So be authentically who you are. So what's duplicatable is not personality. What's duplicatable is the simple system and following the system. Put your own personality about it. But I really don't try to be cool. So if you're like me, then don't try to do that either. Just be who you are. But authenticity goes volumes, I think, in connecting with people. Okay, just to wrap up with these, have quiet confidence. So how do you build confidence? Understand and give yourself some grace. You guys, confidence is built over time. So when you're brand new and you're full of disbelief and you're like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't think I'm as good, as smart, as blah, 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 as Jamie or whoever, right? How do you speak with confidence? Okay, so I can't remember who I heard say this before, but it's not confidence about your current skill set. Everybody's skill set is not good in the beginning, okay? But you have to have confidence, find that confidence that you're on the right path, that you're on the right path to becoming the best version of you. You're on the right team, right place, right time. Confident you're on a road that has been paved by Jamie and Sean and Rich and all these other people, right? Have confidence that people of all walks of life have made it here, are building their dream lives in a much tougher era. You guys, we talk about this, but it was really tough. Imagine getting wet signatures on 50-page apps and having to carry around like, books and portfolios and pens. What's that? I mean, it really was tough. So have confidence knowing it's so much simpler and easier for you. So what took, the old school folks a decade to build, you can do truly in a year. Okay. So the confidence, so have that confidence there on the mindset, the confidence on the skill set. You just got to put in the work. You just got to drill for skill. And last thing here, KISS. KISS can refer to a lot of different things, but keep it short and simple, or keep it short and sweet, or keep it simple, silly. Okay, pick whatever you want, but KISS, okay? You can always say less, but don't say more. Please keep your appointments to 30 minutes until you get the big yes. Okay, please keep them. I see people trying to develop rapport and connection, and an hour and a half later, I'm like, what? There's no close. Like, what happened? So set an alarm on your phone if you need to, okay? Because you truly can talk somebody out of a yes. The more you talk, if they've already said yes, get in, get out. Don't keep talking, even if it feels good in the moment, because they will get off that phone call or that Zoom and they go, oh my God, look what time it is. I really got to go. I have no time to do this. I cannot possibly do this. And then they just said yes, and now they're ghosting you. So yep. Successful people are insanely busy. Unsuccessful are not busy. So do you seem busy, or do you seem you have all the time in the world to give to the 18-year-old single person who is into crypto? Okay, so get a yes, close it, set a time for the next day, and make sure you get a specific time for the very next day when you're taking them through the next step. Communicate that, okay, you've seen step 1, step 2. Now we're going to go step 3 today. Now we're going to get you a result. We're going to get you your first promotion. And so set the clear standards and the simplicity of the system, because right now our system is 2 weeks from the time somebody gets started, they're promoted, they get a result, their license. That's it. 2 weeks, guys. If you can get somebody over the 2-week hurdle, you can get somebody the 30-day hurdle, you can get somebody the next big event. That's it. So don't be afraid to be direct and ask for the yes. You guys don't beat around the bush, and make it simple so that your brand newest person 2 weeks in says, I can do this.
And we used to say there was like, don't do the parking lot interview. We would tell our trainees that, because they would come to these live events and the guests would go to the presentation and be fired up and book appointments to come back to AMA. And then they would walk out to the parking lot with them. And like after our meeting, after the meeting, we would leave and they'd still be in the parking lot talking them out of it. Right.
So this is how it looks in Zoom. This is how it looks in Zoom.
Yeah, trainees, they do it on Zoom.
Do this. Please do not do this, trainees. Okay, great. I'll call you later as you're hanging up. Please don't call them later. Let your trainer guide you to the next day so you don't SOD with them. Please don't call them later, text them later.
Yes.
So that's the time of the appointment.
Yeah. Yep. And I'll just tell you, like the other one I did the other night, I just did, the step 1, this, or both. She said both. I chose to do the second step, the second step, and do the opportunity. And at the end, she's like, yeah, okay. And I'm like, well, the next step is to get you coded. Are you comfortable with that? We can get you coded. We can get you in licensing. It's $47 in your state to get the test. And she's like, oh my gosh. And I said, and we can get you going, but I think we should move forward. How's that sound? You don't have any background issues, do you? You know, and she was on the fence, but I just was like, I think we should move forward. Let's go. And she's like, yes, I want to, you know, and we just did it. And I know that she didn't have a lot of money in her checking account. I know that, you know what I'm saying?
Sometimes they need just a little push.
I was just
Yes,
gonna say, sometimes people want to be guided. Like
Yes,
they
they
need
do.
that for sure.
Yeah. And I don't feel like, I feel like we connected and that I wasn't pushy. You know what I'm saying? It was just helping her to make that decision. Remember the presentation, the outcome of it is to convert the prospect to either making a recruiting decision or an F&A moving closer to a client decision. Paul, I think that keeps this connecting. Dana, why don't you go next? And we'll get Paul back
Oh,
on.
I was gonna have Paul go. Okay. So Olivia said it all between the training Jamie got and Olivia just gave you guys. There's not much more to say. I'm just gonna add a few pieces. They talked about the pre-frame. I think that's so critical. The pre-frame really is, and setting the tone is that deets. And I've got a couple of questions where it's like, what if I don't know their dream? Well, hopefully you know a little bit, but make some assumptions. Or do this. If you don't know what their dream is, replace that with why them, why you chose them. We asked you to choose 5 people, be exclusive about it. The reason I chose you is because, and then make some assumptions about what you think they want, right? That's sort of common sense. So replace the deets with why, or the D with why you chose them if needed. But the pre-frame's critical. Somebody asked in the text, what if there's no trainee, right? What if you're establishing the pre-frame? Okay, hopefully there is a trainee in 99% of your appointments, but the point is if you have to do it as the trainer, that's where the pre-frame comes in. It's establishing your intention for what you want to accomplish today. That's all it is. Olivia said authenticity. That's directly communicating what your intention is today. Let me tell you what I hope to get out of today. Let me tell you why I invited you on this call, right? That's important, guys. People appreciate that. You're teaching them how to look at the presentation. So the pre-frame is really, really important to set the tone for the information. And then the ending, the close, which is the beautiful part of the question is that they guide you. You never have to sell, right? When you don't try to sell, you sell. When you don't try to recruit, you recruit. When you say to them, at this point, we can go in one of 2 directions or both. What is most important to you based on this conversation? Is it A, is it B, or is it both? They tell you where to go. And here's what's interesting. Last thing, and then I'm going to have Paul speak, but if you're going to assume anything, assume they want it.
Yeah.
If you're going to assume anything, like Jamie gave the example of me not responding to something, can you imagine if she spent and wasted her time? Not that this would matter to her much, but right. But what if she was like, oh my God, like that's what we do. We're like, oh my God, they're not calling me back. They hate me. They never want to talk to me again. Guys, like, chill. You're wrong.
Yes.
Assume they want an opportunity. Assume it's not you. Get over yourself. Seriously, right? It's so important, guys. Paul, please. I don't want them to go without hearing from you. So please.
I just have to say, I love being around these people. These are some powerful women. I'm just cracking up over here, Dana, with just chill. They want to talk with you, right? You guys, I want to give a little perspective too, because I was in this with another group, good people, but nothing like this. The training we get from this leadership that's headed out by Jamie and Sean, it's pretty phenomenal. And I'm grateful to be here. But a couple of things that I can maybe add to this, because I don't think we need any more. There's been just such good points. I was talking with Monty Home years ago, and I was struggling to really get results on the presentation. And I asked him, what do you do? He said to me, you have to get on the same side of the table with them. You can't talk at people. You have to talk with them. And it wasn't something that I was able to digest like right away. It took me a little bit of time. And so I found my way of doing that. And I would say when you're out there, the only way you can talk with people is when you are genuine, you believe you can help them, that together you can do something that's going to improve their lives. And so now you can talk fundamental. Last thing that I'll just give in this, and this is just more of a concept as you approach your presenting. I came out of 2011 and 12 having lost most everything in the crash with real estate. And I was looking at this business at that point with somebody, and I said, how can I teach people when I just went through all of this? How many of us are like, oh, who am I to teach this? Who am I? And he said, this just changed my whole world. He said, what you have gone through and what you have experienced has prepared you for this. you don't hide from it. You accept it, you embrace it, you're transparent, not like, oh, I'm bad. No, you're transparent in what I've learned. Some of these experiences that have been so challenging have taught me, and this platform has blessed my life, and I believe it can bless yours. If this is something that connects with you, if it's done for you, what it's done for me. Do you see how we're talking and not presenting in that way of having a conversation with people? And so if in the context, I am like, I love being here, I'm learning, I appreciate it, I'm grateful for it. And man, if it does for you what it's doing for me, it could be pretty impactful. My goodness, this is something that as we go through this, I hope you can see the value, because it's really blessed a lot of lives, and maybe yours is the next one. Man, can you imagine if you talk like that with people, what it would do? I love it. Over to you, Jamie.
I love that. That's so good. You know, Dana and Paul, they made a couple points that I wanted to reiterate. First, Paul saying, like, getting on that same side of the table with them. Monty told me, he said his goal on every presentation, whether that's live at a BPM or virtual on a 101 or any of these things, but his goal was not to get the recruit or get the sale, but more importantly, that when he's done, that people would have this feeling like, man, I don't know anyone. I've never met anyone that's more convicted about what they do than that dude is about what he does. He wanted them to feel his conviction, his passion, his care for them. Does that make sense? So again, you know, Monty used to say, get past the money. So that when you're sitting in these appointments, I was talking about it on the ATM class, when you're sitting on these appointments, it's not about, oh, this is not a good market. I did a few appointments this week of not a good market. One of them had told me she had $300 in her checking account. That's all the money she had to her. Okay. Meanwhile, her baby's on her and everything. You know what I mean? I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about what? Helping my new trainee launch his business successfully and adding value to this person's life in however I can. And I believe so much in our system and our company and the power of our opportunity that, yes, I think that of that $300, she should give me 125 of it so I can change her life forever and those kids' lives forever. Okay. So that conviction. And then Dana was talking about, what if the trainee doesn't edify you properly or do the deep properly? Let's say you role play right before, and then they get on, they say, so I'm excited, you know, Jamie, this is my friend. And we talk a lot about, you know, stuff, you know, about our future. And so I wanted her to meet you, and Jamie's awesome. Like literally, I had someone do that to me this week. Okay. I'm like, all right, though, that's an introduction. It's not what we role play, but right. And so sometimes I have to then go through and say, so Joy, Derek tells me that you really have a passion for your children, and that you have a goal of maybe being able to have more time with your children, and that you're at a job where your boss is not very appreciative and you're not getting paid what you're worth. So she wanted me to get on the phone with you. So do you see how I just reiterated the dreams that they already told me that they didn't do a good job at? Yes, Brittany. Okay. So you go over the dream because you knew it, because you role played it. And then I'm saying, and you know, Derek's so excited right now. Now, we don't know if this is for you or not. Honestly, it's okay if it is or it isn't. At least I want you to be listening to see if there's people that maybe you could be referring to Derek. You know, we're in expansion mode and we're looking for good people, and obviously be thinking of people that may need the help as we go through some of this stuff today. And I've been doing this business for 25 years. And I've helped a lot of people to successfully launch their business coast to coast. And I'm excited really for Derek's future. So I kind of have to edify myself, and I kind of have to do the deep over again sometimes. And that's okay. But guess what I'm doing? I'm field training Derek on how to do it right next time. And I'm hoping to make sure that presentation goes as well as possible, even if the trainee didn't do it. Okay.
Jamie,
So
can I add something very quickly?
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead.
I don't want it to go unnoticed, the importance of practice. Like after every appointment I went on, I would go home and practice. I didn't just rely on these trainings, but I went out and I did it over and over and over again, and I prepared. And so let's just make sure that gets covered. Like that's our responsibility individually, and it worked really well for me.
Yes, I mean, and that's something that I think the trainers and the SMD should be telling their people, like, we're going to only go out in the field maybe 10 times together, and then you're probably going to be on your own. So every time we go out, like I would tell Dana, every time we go out, you go home that night, and with those same flip charts, you practice 10 or 10, 20 times.
And
What we
Frank was
just
ready
did.
to be the abusive client. No, I'm just kidding. He was
Yeah.
ready with objections. It's good.
But what I told Dana was, your first 5 that we go on, I want you to just watch how I, explain different concepts. The second 5, you're going to be watching how hi, Benny. He's literally climbing the walls right now. His brothers are all at like football things and wrestling things, and he's up the walls. Okay. So, but so, it's the second 5 appointments, I would tell her, my trainees, I want you to be watching how I transition, how I build rapport, how I ask questions. But every time we do an appointment, you go home that night with your flip chart and you try to practice. And then you ask me questions, text me questions that you're like, hey, I remember you said this, or why did you do it different this time on this client? You explain this a little bit different. How come? Like, so, so every time, it's not, again, these field training appointments, it's remember, in the system, the BFS, it says a weak builder will recruit someone and train them. A strong builder will recruit someone and then build them a team. Does that make sense? So if our mindset is, oh, I'm taking these appointments and I'm going making sales, that's not right. Okay. That's not necessarily right. Sales will come.